Hey guys, Jeff here from BestTechie.com. Today I want to talk about smartphone addiction. Yep, smartphone addiction. So here's the thing. Can we just stop saying that smartphone addiction is a real thing? Please. I'll explain why. So smartphones have, for most people, taken over two core functions: entertainment and communication. Now, every function that smartphones have taken over to date, or pretty much have replaced an old way of doing things. So, for example, instead of reading the newspaper to get the news, you read the news on your smartphone. Or instead of writing a letter to somebody, you text them. Or instead of playing a video game at a video game console, you play a video game on your smartphone. And there are so many other examples of things like that, that to me, if you think about it from a broad standpoint, right? If you think about it from like the grand scheme of things, all these things that smartphones have replaced essentially for us, it's a lot, which means that you're obviously then going to be spending more time with the device if you're not spending time doing things that device replaced. So if you don't have to read the newspaper, you're just going to read it on your smartphone. I mean, so you wouldn't pick up a newspaper, you just pick up your smartphone. So of course you're going to have your smartphone in hand more often. Now, I recently read an article in the New York Times from Farhad Manjoo, who is a tech columnist there, and he wrote, "Imagine if once per week your phone gave you a report on how you spent your time, similar to how other activity trackers tell you how sedentary you were in the last week. It could also needle you. Farhad, you spent half your week scrolling through Twitter. Do you really feel proud of that? It could also offer help. If I notice you spending too much time on Snapchat next week, would you like me to remind you?" Now, first of all, just know. Just know. That sounds terrible. Not only is it condescending, essentially what he wrote is that, essentially what he wrote and that the substance of what he wrote is, Apple should tell you when you're spending too much time using a particular app. Now, I love Apple. I love them. I mean, look at the shirt I'm wearing right here. But who is Apple to determine how much time I'm allowed to spend in a particular app? I don't think that's Apple's job. Now, he goes on to write, another idea is to impose more fine-grained tools to control your notifications. Now, for this, I actually agree with him. Apple should come out with a feature that lets you have more control over how your phone sends out notifications to you, what apps can send out what types of notifications, and so on. That makes sense. However, he goes on to talk about how Apple could essentially, do this because they are a hardware company and that they don't make money through attention, essentially, that they make money through selling their products. And it's just whole mishigash, if you will, of just information that just doesn't matter. Because if Apple rolled out a feature that lets you have more control over your notifications, which I think they should, it's a good idea. What that ultimately means, and what I think most iOS users would say, is that this is great. I would praise that feature because it allows me to have less annoying notifications on my phone. Not because it's going to make me less addicted. I'm not addicted. You have to think about it from a different perspective. It's not, and even if that were the case, even if that were the one feature that they rolled out, they wouldn't be promoting it as a less addicting feature. It would just be a feature that gave you more control over how you're notified about things on your phone. So I'm with him on that feature. But going forward, if you are a parent and you are concerned that your child is addicted to their smartphone, that's on you. You're the parent, control the situation. It's not up to Apple to dictate how your child uses their smartphone. In this case, it's not like they're selling them to a cigarette. It's not like to big tobacco who knew the dangers of it. They're selling a product that has replaced a lot of other tools or functionality or things that we all used to use and combined it into a nice little package That's a singular package that people spend a lot of time on. That's the reason why people are on their phones. I mean, this whole notion of smartphone addiction, I just think is ridiculous. And then the last point I want to make about this, I grew up in the 90s, okay? My generation of kids, kids that I grew up with, everyone was like, everyone was talking about TVs ruining the mind of young people, blah, 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 blah. And did my parents go and tell the TV manufacturers and the TV networks to stop making TV so addictive? No, they didn't. In fact, what they did was they didn't get me a TV in my room until I was much older. Even though my friends all had TVs in their room. I had to wait forever. I turned out okay. I waited. I mean, if you don't want your child using a smartphone, just don't give it to them or implement rules. This whole thing that Apple and other tech companies should be responsible for a child or a person's smartphone usage is just mind-boggling to me. I feel like every generation is going to have something like this. This time it's smartphones. Anyway, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you disagree, let me know. I'm here to debate it with you. Thanks for watching. This has been BestTechie.com. Until next time, we'll see you. And remember, take care of computers. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video and any other videos I put out. I really appreciate it. It helps me. It helps the channel. It helps everything that we do here. Thanks again.